Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, a webinar on Indian automotive industry and supply chain management. Thank you for taking time out and being here today's session. I am Professor Chetan Dokhe from Mechanical Engineering Department, Samartha Group of Institution, College of Engineering, Belle. I would like to thanks to Secretary of Samartha Group of Institution, Honorable Vivek Shelke sir, Trustee Honorable Vallabh Shelke sir, Administrative Officer Professor Pradeep Gadekar sir, and HOD Professor Amol Khotade sir for give the opportunity to coordinate webinar and also start uh, the webinar series. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Deepak Pawar sir, who is Manager Business Development in Magna Automotive in India Private Limited, having 20 plus experience in his field. Uh, by taking less time, now I request to Mr. Deepak Pawar sir to start this session.
Okay. Thank you, Chetan sir. Hello friends. Good morning. I would like to thank Samartha College of Engineering teachers, staffs that they are conducting such seminars that student can get the actual industrial practices, how they are functioning, and this will be very helpful for them there to settling their futures and decide the way forward in their future. Actually, you might be knowing that last week we have conducted this seminar, but unfortunately, due to some technical reasons, we were not able to complete last 10-15 minutes. So based on your request, we will be starting this webinar again. So I'll introduce myself. Basically, I am Deepak Pawar, and mechanical engineer and postgraduate diploma in marketing management. I am having around 20 years of experience in industry, basically in auto industry, in sales and business development function. So right from my day one to till date, I was only in the same field, which is in sales and marketing. So today, based on my overall experience, I have took the subject Indian auto industry and its functioning and supply chain management. The idea behind this subject is I just wanted to give to feel to students that they could relate their actual study experience with the industry experience, so that they can decide which line or which subject or which area they can focus in future, where they wanted to go, and how they can take help this industry experience to settle their life. So I'll start with it. So as an overview, you might be knowing Indian auto industry is the fourth largest market in the world. Market, I mean, they are the fourth largest manufacturer as well as the fourth largest customer also. Except this current year and last year, because the last year is not that good because of some financial crisis. You might have heard word recession, and and this year is because of this corona and pandemic situation. But overall, from last 20 years, the industry is growing around 8 to 9% every year, and this will be continue at least for next 10 years. except this current year. You might be surprised that auto industry means overall auto, around 40 lakhs vehicle together we are manufacturing in India. So 40 lakhs is a big number. Uh, of course, the two-wheeler is the major dominating player because most of the share is contained two-wheeler. But apart from this, balance around 20 to 25 lakhs is consist of car segment as well as commercial vehicle, heavy commercial vehicle, and off-road vehicle. Actually, Indian auto industry, there are four clusters throughout India. There are some regions where the specific auto industry work is going on. You might have heard some of them. So the clusters are like Delhi, Gurgaon, and Faridabad region, where the major player Maruti Suzuki, as well as Honda, Hero Motors, these industries are there. Second, in eastern side, there is in Kolkata and Jamshedpur area, Hindustan Motors were there. In Jamshedpur, Tata Motors were there. Rather, Tata Motors is there. Third one is the Chennai, Bangalore, and Hosur area in southern side. Many multinationals are there like Bharat Benz, Ashok Leyland, Indian player. Again, Renault, Nissan. You might have Bullet, and these all players are in southern area. TVS, Suzuki. Even at the newly started Kia Motors, they are in southern region of the Bangalore, Hosur, and this area. And in our region in Maharashtra, basically Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, and Aurangabad region. In this area, you might be knowing that Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Volkswagen, Fiat Chrysler, Force Motor, again in two-wheelers like Bajaj, Kinetic. These plants are there in our area. So like that, geographical spread wise, in four regions, this auto industry is consist, and most of the and we might be interested in our area. So let's see how these autos are, means technically how these categorize. I'll go to next slide. So you can see this on your screen. This is the classification, vehicle classification. This classification is based on the design, vehicle design point of view. You might have heard the various type of classification in the market based on that horsepower, even brand and size, shape, and weight wise. But this classification is based on European standard, and normally while designing or engineering, people are referring this classification. So like class 1, class 2, class 3 up to class 13, the vehicle categories are classified. So like in class 1 motorcycle, in class 2 passenger car, in class 3 four tire and single unit, class 4 buses and like that. Class 5 two axle, six tire and single unit. Class 6 three axle single unit and like that. So these are the classes that normally design engineers are relate to their design. If some just to give an example, say someone want to start the design, so the input is like we want to design class 3 vehicle, so they automatically come to know the class 3 vehicle is like four tire vehicle and single unit, and then their imagination starts. So this is the classification, and this is the standard classification which is based on European standard actually, and accepted worldwide. The second classification is based on their length. Just a second slide, just a minute. I'm just waiting for next slide. Hello, there might have some technical problem. Just a minute.
Okay, Deepak sir, start.
Okay. Hello. Chetan sir.
झाली स्क्रीन शेअर झाली.
Okay. So sorry, friend. I think some technical problems were there. In short, we have came up to that overview. The overall Indian auto industry is the fourth largest player in the world. They are growing around 8 to 9% every year. Around 40 lakhs of the vehicles every year we are manufacturing. Of course, two-wheeler is the major player, and there are four regions in India, which is Delhi, Gurgaon, Faridabad, Kolkata, Jamshedpur, Chennai, Bangalore, and Mumbai, Pune, Nasik, and Aurangabad region. I have given the example of vehicles. So based on this category, the vehicle are classified based on their structure, like class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and class 5. So class 1 is motorcycle, class 2 is passenger car, and like this up to class 30. So this classification is based on the European standard, and normally design engineers are referring this classification. So second classification is based on their overall vehicle length, like class A, class B, class C, class D vehicles. Like class A is the overall length is below 3,500 mm. Class B is 3,500 to 4,200. Like that, class C, class D, and class 4. The vehicles are categorized. Now, I will give you some interesting figures and facts of Indian auto industry. See, the slide which is in front of your desk right now is the major auto OEMs in India. These are the major auto OEMs. Apart from this, there are luxury car segments also that I have not covered. If you see, almost 17 to 18 auto manufacturers are there. So, being to present and give the idea, so I have covered basically car segment. Everything is not possible to cover in short session. So I have covered only car segment. If you see, there are around 17 to 18 vehicle manufacturers like Fiat Chrysler, Fiat India Automobile, Ford Motor, Ford, Hindustan Motors, Honda, Isuzu, Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki, MG Motors and all. Uh, you can see the figures also. In March, April 18, 19, around 33 lakh 77,000 vehicles manufactured. And you can see in 18, 19 percent. So interestingly, if you see the biggest percent is Maruti Suzuki, which is the 51%. If you see, this is a 51%, 51.22% vehicles are manufactured by Maruti. Second largest is Hyundai. So they are manufacturing around 16.14 or around 17%. I will just show the next pie chart. You will get the better idea. See, this pie chart shows Maruti Suzuki and Hyundai Motors. They are dominating the car segment in India, and around 70%, 73% of the vehicle are manufactured and sold by these two OEMs, and others are balanced 30%, which is Ford, Tata Motors, Mahindra, Kia Motors, Renault, Nissan, Toyota, Fiat Chrysler, these all. So you can see the share of various companies or various vehicles in automotive segment. So I just wanted to highlight the major player in India is Maruti Suzuki, and second largest is Honda Motors, or uh, Hyundai Motors, and third is come either Mahindra or Tata or Toyota. They are ranking third or fourth respectively. So these are the some top 10 vehicles that usually used to sold in India. These are the 18, 19, 19, 20 figures. Almost 8 to 10 vehicles, 8 vehicles are from Maruti. Rest is from, one is from say Hyundai, and second one is from Tata Motors. So you can see almost Maruti is dominating the Indian industry, and almost 8 top vehicles they are selling in India, maximum number. And then comes to Hyundai Motors, and third one is either Tata Motors or Amaz. So based on this, you can imagine which industry, which company, which portfolio is important in Indian auto industry. Now we will come the structure wise, which usually known to various people. The structure wise classification of the vehicle. So there are two major classification based on structure, body on frame and unibody. This will be interesting and actually important. If you use these words, this terminology in your interview sessions or in some of the industry, so it will give you added advantage. So what is unibody frame and what is body on frame, and what is unibody, which is called monocoque also. So body on frame is, you can see in the picture, it is an automobile construction method, mounting a separate body on a rigid frame. You might have heard the word chassis. So all the BIW or the sheet metal parts are mounted on chassis. That is called body on frame. So you can see that black structure below. On that black structure, whole vehicle is mounted. Whole vehicle weight comes on that black structure and vehicle mounted. This is called body on frame design. And this type of in this type of vehicle, basically SUVs are coming, like Mahindra and Mahindra's Bolero, yeah, Tata Motors, say that Sumo, and this type of vehicle, Sumo Grande. This type of vehicle comes under body on frame. And second is monocoque design. Monocoque means all the sheet metal parts are welded each other with the spot welding, or in maybe arc welding or MIG welding. This is called monocoque body. In monocoque body, you might have seen almost all type of cars are considered, basically small cars and notchback and hatchback cars. These are considered as a monocoque frame body. So in this, basically, as I said, whole parts are joined to each other with the help of MIG welding or TIG welding or spot welding. But how the engine and the transmission are taken place? So engine and transmission are taken place based on two major sub-assemblies that are called rear twist beam and front subframe. So in this, if you front side, this black portion you can see, this is the subframe on which the engine is mounted and assembled. And in back side there is one rigid structure called a rear twist beam. On that the two wheels are mounted. So I will take you through the manufacturing cycle of a vehicle throughout its design and as well as manufacture, production, and how the supply chain works. So basically, whenever someone decide to manufacture a vehicle, they wanted to have a concept. Concept means what type of vehicle they wanted to introduce in the market. Say someone want to say, for example, say Tata Motor want to introduce a small car which is 5-seater. So for that type of vehicle, they used to do the market study. and based on that market study, they find out how much sale will be there, what cost Indian public or Indian customer can afford, and what requirement they wanted to have in their vehicle. Once that market study is done, then it goes to the designer, and then design starts. So in design, actually, technical criteria is more important. Like what should be the weight of vehicle, what should be the power of vehicle, shape, size, sitting capacity, in which geographical vehicle to be used, for which purpose vehicle to be used. That concept is considered in design, and based on that, designer is design vehicle. Once that vehicle is designed, then prototype and testing needs to be carried out. You might have heard ARAI or that VRD in your Nagar, that they are the vehicle testing research institute. So once the vehicle is designed, we have to take approval from these government agencies, and then only that vehicle can be introduced in the market. So what they are normally OEMs are preparing the prototypes, doing their testing, get the approval from these agencies, and then it comes to the market. Then third comes to the manufacturing. Once the testing is approved, prototyping is approved, then it comes to the manufacturing. So manufacturing is having various processes. So in earlier days, means olden days, maybe around 30, 40 years back, the OEMs mean the original equipment manufacturing. Student, I just wanted to emphasize, remember this word, OEM, original equipment manufacturer. Means the, like say Tata Motor. Tata Motor is the OEM. They are the owner of that vehicle or that brand, and they are setting all the setup for that car, so that they are the OEM. Like you can consider, say, even other segments also, say white goods, say in fridge or these things, say Godrej is the OEM, Samsung is the OEM. Their sub supplier and their sub supplier is called tier 1 supplier and tier 2 supplier. This tier 1 supplier is supplying some parts or assemblies to this OEM. They are called tier 1, and tier 2 is supplying to the tier 1. So like the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 suppliers are classified. So, so in manufacturing process, to understand the car manufacturing process, you have to understand the underlying supply chain that drives the domestic vehicle assembly. Today's car are primarily outsourced. Means I'll take details in future slides to produce the various sub assemblies. This means cars production plant is only a active assembly plants. Means normally OEM is having normally take these all parts all together. They are assembling and selling it. So their main key focus is with highly automation and skilled worker, robotic and these all things. But they are taking these all components from the tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers. You can call sub suppliers. So, the best important thing of this is to get the parts in just in time. You can imagine how the car can be given, such a big car can be given in just in time or just in sequence basis. This is only based on the supply chain management that we will cover in next slide. So in overview of supply chain, all supply chain OEMs are outsource their product commodity wise. As I say, if someone want to manufacture a car, so car commodity comes like sheet metal components, engine components, rubber component, plastic component, tires, brake system, seating system, electrical, electronic, glasses. So these are the commodities of a vehicle. So in supply chain, these commodities are categorized and outsourced from the other suppliers. Uh, so main advantage of supply chain is that no need to invest a big capex. Big capex means huge amount of capital or cost or the amount cannot be invested by one OEM. Say for example, Tata Motor want to manufacture a car, so they cannot invest in everything like manufacture sheet metal, manufacture engine, plastic, tires. So it will require a huge capital. So this is the main advantage. If the sub assemblies are outsourced to the TN1 supplier, or it is taken from the sub suppliers, then the capex is saved. Second thing is no need to do inventory. Inventory means the no need to do the stock at their end, because they can immediately get it from their supplier. So OEM need not to do inventory. Just in sequence and just in time, the product can be produced and introduced in the market. You might have just in time means immediately when it required. Sorry, just in sequence means mm, in sequencing. Say for example, there is one common line, and in common line, say for Tata Motor, they are manufacturing two, three types of vehicles. So first vehicle will be their Harrier. Second vehicle might be their Ultra. Third vehicle might be their Tiago. So this type, all three different types of vehicle can be manufactured in single line, and accordingly sequence can be done in one line. So this type of things only possible when the other parts are outsourced from the suppliers, because supplier can immediately supply just on sequencing basis. If say Tata Motor is decided that they want to manufacture a Harrier today, so they will ask, so their supplier supplied me Harrier part, and then they immediately, the supplier can supply in few hours and Harrier can be manufactured. So like that, if next day they changes their plan that they wanted to manufacture Ultron, then the next day the supplier will supply the parts, Ultros parts, and Ultros can be manufactured. So like that, this is called the sequencing. So whatever the vehicle you required, uh, in sequence wise, that sequence wise the vehicle can be manufactured. And third important is how big that these tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers can be. You might be surprised to know that some of the tier 1 companies are bigger than these OEMs. Means some of the tier 1 companies are big than Tata Motors, or bigger than say Mahindra and Mahindra. Their turnover, their plant and are huge. And the benefit is also huge, because say someone is a specialized manufacturer in sheet metal. So because the tier 1 is manufacturing various sheet metal components from for various automobile. So for X, tier 1 is manufacturing say for Mahindra, the same tier 1 is manufacturing for Tata, same tier 1 is manufacturing from VW. So they are having expertise in this part, and that expertise can be transferred to the OEM, and they can manufacture better product in better time, better cost efficient, this process wise. So these are the major role in of tier 1 suppliers. We'll go to next slide. So as I said, these parts are outsourced. So what kind of parts are outsourced in automotive? These are chassis parts, or in some of the cases, whole chassis is outsourced, like our company is doing. Second is body parts, BIW parts like door, rear door, front door, windshield. These parts are an underbody parts. Even some of the cases, paints are outsourced. Means for painting, the vehicle is going to the other plant. In some of the cases, interiors are outsourced, like plastic parts and interior cluster and these things. Chassis and body mountings, again wheels and tires, engine and gearbox, electricals. These are the major parts that normally and in auto industry that are outsourced from for the manufacturing. So these are the major categories wherein the supply chain is distributed for auto industry. So how these departments are functioning? So in an OEM there are various departments. You might have studied in your books also. So basically sales and marketing, design engineering, manufacturing, production, purchasing, quality, dispatch, packing, logistics, stores, finance, HR, industrial engineering, maintenance. Even in bigger OEMs there are IT industry and infrastructure and these other department also. So through this department, you can relate yourself. in an automobile, almost all fields of the engineering student can be covered. So based on your likes, dislikes, you can target a industry, target area, target a department, and where your likes and dislikes are there, and which department you can be fit, and where you have to make your career. That can be easy for you to. That can be easy for you to choose your career in future. So that's the short details I would like to cover through the supply chain and auto industry. Now you can ask your question and queries if you have. Thank you. Sir, over to you. You can ask me the question if there are.
Pawar sir,
हाँ बोला sir.
can I conclude?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Deepak Pawar, sir, for gracing this webinar. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. I would like to express a gratitude to our secretary, Mr. Vivek Shalke, sir, and Vallabh Shalke, sir, also administrative officer Gadekar, sir, and principal, sir, for their moral support. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Khatode, sir, for giving the permission for this webinar and also for participations. Also, I express a hearty vote of thanks to our staff members and coordinators for making these events successful. And last, I would like to thanks to our vote of thanks to our participants and the peoples who have making this webinar grants. Thank you, Pawar sir, and thank you,
हॅलो
coordinator.
हा एक मिनिट क्वेश्चन्स लाईव्ह क्वेश्चन्स विचारतायत स्टुडंट्स तर त्यांना आपण रिस्पॉन्ड करू कमेंट मध्ये विचारले तुम्हाला क्वेश्चन.
Okay, sir. No issue.
Okay. Hello, Chetan sir. You can read the question, so I can answer.
Hello.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir. The question. So the question is of Sunil Taude. What will be OEM market today as of COVID-19? So will how much time? For how much time?
Uh,
What will be the OEM market today?
yeah. Sunil, actually, it is the expected question and interesting one also. At present, no one knows how that market is going to do. But as per the expert industry view, they are saying at least this year, means 2020-21 till March 21, this will market will be sluggish little bit. If that vaccine comes in vaccine is introduced nearby in September, October. So in last quarter, say March, January, February, March, the market will pick up. But till the time, the market will be sluggish and it will be on a slower path actually. But once that vaccination come or some downtrend of that COVID patients are started, so market will take place in a big way because the whole backup of this year, even in last year, because last year also was not good. Because of the recession, the vehicle growth was not that much, or vehicle sales growth was not that much. So in coming next one year or 1.5 year, you can expect the big market growth in auto industry or auto OEM.
Uh, so one more question is there. Mm, hello.
Yes, please.
According to 2018-19 and 2019-20, how we will conclude our economy?
See, 18, 19 and 19, see, even if you see 18, 19 and 19, 20, growth is not that much because global trend of recession was started in 17, 18, and that will continue. Basically, in Europe and US market, the impact was huge, and then it came to India after 6 or 7 months, and 18, 19, our production after Diwali goes down and sales were goes down. In 1920, in last quarter, this pandemic situation was there, and before that, the situation of that recessions were there. So these 2 years were not good as far as the growth point of view for the industry. Actually. So as far as growth, you cannot compare it. There is a much growth. It was a stagnant market actually last 2 years.
Okay, sir. There is not any questions now.
Okay.
Okay. Sir,
So
we will now
Hello.
end the session. I will hand over it to Chetan Doke, sir.
Hello, all participants. We will share a feedback link on your registered mail ID. So please fill it. After your feedback response, we will get e-certificates of this webinar. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Samad College Management and Trustee and all teachers. Thanks, Parbane,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Power, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.